Alright, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Hang on to your seats for this story right here. Won't be long, but it's very hill and gully. Hit that subscribe button. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified every time a new video goes up on SouFLoTV. You know, once we cover a story, we normally follow the story through to the end. You don't want to miss the update to these stories. Sometimes they take weeks, sometimes it takes months, and sometimes it takes years. But we stick to the story and we bring the follow-up as well. More than 17 years is what one man just got for murdering a woman thinking that she infected him with HIV/AIDS. First of all, before I even start the story, let me just say, if you are one of those careless men that don't put a rubber on your willy and you dip your stick any and everywhere, then you can't want to hurt somebody when you find out that you got something, right? The person who you got something from, that woman might not even have known that she had something. It is your responsibility, is the word, to protect yourself. Don't catch things and then go try to kill people. Anyways, here goes the story. Shout out to the Jamaica Gleaner. St. Vincent, CMC, a high court judge in St. Vincent sentenced a 26-year-old man to more than 17 years in prison after he was found guilty of murdering a woman that he thought had infected him with HIV/AIDS. Justice Brian Cottle sentenced Desron Roberts, who had been on remand for nearly 4 years already, just waiting on this trial to start, sentenced him to a further 17 years, 5 months and 11 days in prison. So at the end of this, he will have done 21 years, 5 months and 11 days in prison. On June 27th this year, Robert pleaded not guilty to the charge that between October 24th and 27th, 2018, he murdered Rhodesia Bailey. The court heard that Roberts, who was then 22 years old, had a sexual relationship with Bailey, the woman who was 30 years old, whose house he frequently stayed at. On July 16th of 2018, Bailey told Roberts that she was HIV positive. Robert, I think I have AIDS. I go get a checkup and it come back positive. So it's not me think, it said me have AIDS. And 2 days later, he himself went to go see a doctor who had advised him to take a post-exposure treatment for HIV and to also get tested. Roberts began the course of medication, but he did not adhere to the prescription fully, as he felt that some of the side effects of the medication were just too harsh on his body. He had bouts of depression and he contemplated suicide, but he was afraid to speak to anyone about his problems for fear of the reaction that he would have to face. You know, people in the Caribbean, we have a certain kind of stereotypical outlook on people who have AIDS, or if somebody comes to you and tell you, I'm HIV positive, everything inside of you locks up and goes on guard because you don't want to catch it. And although they tell us that it can only be caught through intravenous needle use or sexual contact, people don't believe that still. Some people believe that if you drink from the same cup that someone else drinks from who is HIV positive, or you use the same utensils, then you might be able to catch it that way, or even sit on the same toilet seat. Nonetheless, he continued the sexual relationship with Bailey, even after she told him that she was positive. This is not her guessing. This is her telling him, Robert, I'm positive. I go to the doctor. The doctor do my test. My result came back. I have it. He still continued the relationship with Bailey. And in October of 2018, he decided that he would kill her, thinking that she had infected him with HIV. On October 25th of 2018, he took a knife with him to her house. As she was lying, wearing only her underwear, lying there, woman trying to look sexy for her man, regardless of the fact that she have AIDS. I mean, at this point, she told him, and he still decided to stick around. She told him to go get tested. He went to go see a doctor. I guess at this point, she is probably thinking, well, he has it, I have it, we're in a relationship. That's a non-factor now. We're going to manage the HIV/AIDS diagnosis, but we're going to still stay together and we're going to carry on this relationship. So yes, man come over. She's put on her little sexy underwear and she's laying there and she's waiting for him, right? As she's laying there in only her underwear, Robert told her that he had actually come to kill her today. Bailey told Roberts that she was not afraid to die, and he put the knife down that he had in his hand and began to strangle her. Bailey attempted to reach for the knife, but she was unsuccessful as Roberts continued to strangle her. Unsatisfied with his attempts to end her life that way by strangulation, Roberts took up the knife and began to stab her multiple times, who held on to him, begging for her life. Roberts stabbed her over and over and over before releasing her. When he released her, she got up and she ran from the house, but she collapsed nearby. Roberts went to his home and a passing villager found Bailey's body early the following morning. A post-mortem found that she died of multiple stab wounds. She was laying out there only in her underwear. Now, this story is a story that we covered from before, years ago when this first happened. Remember, he's been on remand for 4 years now. He's been locked up without bail for 4 years now, awaiting this to go to trial. I still remember seeing the picture of that young lady in her underwears in the middle of the road. And a lot of people were saying, oh, it was prostitution stuff gone wrong and all that. And it was not. This is the follow-up, and this is what it is. She actually went and got tested and had AIDS, and she told him. He continued the relationship for a short while, but ended up feeling like he needed to kill her. Following his arrest, Roberts confessed to murdering Bailey and taking them to the house. In sentencing, Justice Cottle said that he had no need to depart from the guidelines regarding the aim of criminal punishment, namely retribution, deterrence, prevention, rehabilitation, and that the court must follow the sentencing guidelines unless they lead to injustice in a particular case. Justice Cottle said further that the court can impose on an adult convicted of murder a sentence of death, or a whole life sentence, or a determinate sentence. He said that there was a significant degree of premeditation involved in the killing, noting that Roberts took the knife with him to the scene. He didn't find a knife from the house or from her apartment or her house. He took a knife with him there that he used. And he told the victim that he had come to kill her today. The judge said that the social inquiry report stated that Roberts grew up without the guidance of parents and he was abused by a guardian. He dropped out of school in Form 3. Justice Cottle said that he found that Roberts did not have the coping skills or the social support network to help him to deal with the consequences of having contracted HIV and the associated social stigma that goes along with it. He said that it was unfortunate that when confronted with this type of a crisis, Robert could only see a resort to violence. He, however, said that he did not see Robert as likely to re-offend, to kill anybody else in the future. Weird. Operation Chaos says, man, it's sad how someone can be so careless in their own approach towards unprotected sex. But then, when they contracted a virus, they blame it on the other person. No sense of personal responsibility here, which is what I spoke about in the beginning of this video. I said, if you fail to put condoms on and ensure that they stay on while involved in the activity, then you have nobody else to blame but yourself. It is your responsibility to protect you. The person who you're getting it from might not even know that they have it. Worst, if y'all never had a conversation about being tested, when last you got tested, and all that other stuff, and you just go right to sex. You can't turn around and now try to kill somebody when they didn't know. And the sad part is, she is a person that does get a checkup. So when she did go get a checkup and found out that she did have it, she never hid it from you. She came and told you. Holy Perv says, damn, this is a tragic story. Woman gave him AIDS, but he went back to have more sex with the same woman. After sex and more sex for months, he decided that he was going to kill her. That is some devilish behavior. They both lost. Richie B said, extremely light punishment for the nature of this crime. Seems like this judge came from Jamaica. And I said in the beginning that this was a Jamaican story, but it wasn't. This was from another Caribbean island. Somebody else says, why is this in the news? Well, we don't know why it's in the news. This one was actually from St. Vincent, not Jamaica. So pardon me for saying it was a Jamaican story in the beginning. It was from St. Vincent. And we did remember seeing this woman out in the streets in her underwear alone. And we assumed all other kinds of things. It's already in the news. Too late to say it shouldn't be there. Let's make this an example, especially to the men. How about an example to everybody that heard this? For one, go get your regular checkups, okay? AIDS ain't what it used to be. A little FYI education, there are people who are living healthy looking, feeling, appearing, because they are on the cocktail of medicines that modern day technology has been able to develop to combat AIDS. So they're living longer and healthier lives than back in the day, the 80s or the 90s rather. And here's a lesson. Always use protection. Ladies, don't leave it up to the man and talk about, oh, well, he didn't put on no protection, so inbreed me. Or he didn't put on no protection, so he gave me something. No, it's going into you. So you make sure that you have protection on it before that thing goes into you. And men, it is your responsibility because that thing is attached to your body. Make sure you put on a condom because you don't know what you're going into. Yeah, you know it's a JJ, but you don't know what's in there for you. Or in other words, then, you don't know what you're coming out with, right? So everybody protect themselves all around and everybody go get tested. It's important to know your status, especially if you're a person who's out there with multiple partners. I'm just saying. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one, and I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.